Hi everyone, I know it's been a while since I last posted a video in this Arty Musings series, but I am back as I promised. And today I am going to sort of answer a question one of you guys had for me. And let me just first read the question. You asked me to speak about how my education and lifestyle and environment have influenced me and how I create work. Now, I have talked about why environments matter in a previous video, and this specific question is actually quite vast, and I'm not sure if I can cover everything in a 10-minute video. So what I'll do is try to give an example of how my upbringing has influenced my mindset, which then influences how I attend to my work. Now, the first thing to take into consideration is that I did have a very alternate upbringing. I was homeschooled most of my life, for example, and I have never been pushed to be successful in the traditional sense of the word. I have never been pushed to make it in a material sense. And I think having that kind of background where the focus is more on the creative and the spiritual and finding meaning in life, and always pursuing my own freedom and pursuing my own relationship to life has definitely been very impactful, and I see now that it comes out in my work. So I'm definitely grateful for the background that I had growing up. As an example of how this works, I have talked before about when I struggle with the painting, I will take a break and then try to solve the situation by giving myself breathing space. I have come to realize that sometimes those problems come from my own attitude, and that can be anything from me focusing too much on the painting as something that needs to be finished. So that whenever an artist is painting, he's not trying to paint for the sake of creating an end product. We are trying to immerse ourselves completely in the creative process. And for me, at least, I'm always trying to experience life and various aspects of life through creativity. So when I am focused on, or if I'm making myself anxious about completing a painting, and instead of being in the moment and really enjoying the process, I end up telling myself, okay, I need to finish that and then complete that section, and then it'll be finished, and then have these ideas I need to do. And I'm always focused on the future as opposed to being in the moment. That affects my relationship to creativity and that specific painting. And having the kind of upbringing that I did has allowed me to be able to see when this happens and realize that this is not the purpose of painting. I am not trying to create something to sell just for survival. I want to experience life in all its aspects, really. And creativity is one way. Creativity is like a partner in that journey for me. And so when I am not being in the moment, when I'm not being attentive, and I'm always focused on the future. And the thing about being focused on the future is that it turns into a habit. So I'll be focused about a very specific, say, time frame or a moment in the future where I want to, say, complete certain X amount of paintings. And when that moment comes, in that moment, I'm thinking about the next future, the next level. So you never ever reel yourself in. You're always ahead of yourself. And because of that, your relationship to creativity can get strained. But I've come to realize, you take the break, you realize where you're going wrong. And then when you see that you see where the problem is, that you're not really being in the moment. I find some of the best ways to get back in the moment is these are the things I do at least. I'll always have my meditation or do a tarot card reading or something where I get to analyze myself. And then when I get back to creativity, I like to start with something from life. For example, a self-portrait, because that really grounds me, and it allows me to just, when it comes to the difficult parts of painting, it's just technical. It's really about how do I translate what I'm seeing onto canvas. And then that slowly reels me back into the creative process. So I like to start with something from life when I've needed to, call a halt and take time away from painting. But it is, like I said before, really important to understand that painting is not just a career. I mean, it depends on each individual, but for me, it's definitely not just a career or a way of making money so that I can survive. I wanted to show me what life is about, really. So I always take the time to develop as a person first, because I know that will affect my relationship to creativity and also the end products when they do finally arrive. But for me, it's really important, that first step of understanding yourself, understanding life and what your purpose is, whether there is meaning to it. I mean, you have to figure things out for yourself. You can't just listen to somebody else or believe in something or just accept without experiencing it enough for it to be in your bones. So that all of this, the ways of thinking, the way of approaching experiences in life, that definitely has been influenced by my upbringing. So like I said, I'm really grateful for that alternate way of seeing things, for the ability to take time to figure out, to just even ask questions. Why do we do what we do? Why do we make decisions based on fear as opposed to a love or a passion for life? Why do we seek security? Why do we fear death? All of these things, we don't realize it, but subconsciously these things affect our decisions and our attitudes, how we feel about ourselves, about others. So I've always tried to take the time to contemplate and figure these things out as much as I can, because I know then the rest, how I develop as a person and how my paintings come into being, they will flower from that quite naturally. I try to think of it this way: when I am painting, I want to be in the same state of peace and happiness and joy and in the momentness as when I'm doing something that I really enjoy, like reading a book, for example, when I'm just sitting outside and my favorite beverage is next to me and there's a great view and it's a beautiful day and I'm just reading the words and my imagination is running wild. That sense of peace and contentment and satisfaction, that is the kind of state I want to have when I'm painting. That's why when I focus too much on the future and thinking of painting as a task or something that has to be done, I cannot achieve that state. So that is something I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope that sort of gives you an idea of how I think and how my upbringing has influenced how I think. And again, if you have any further questions, please feel free to comment somewhere down below or even message me. I will try to answer them as best as I can, and if it's too long, I'll try to do it like this, where I can give you an example of why I do what I do or how I think the way I do. So I hope that is informative at least, and I hope you guys are having a great weekend. So until next time, take care and be good to yourselves. Alright guys, bye.